You got to take your power back. If a person really wants you, they fight for you, right? Somebody really wants you in your life, wants you in their lives, then they'll fight for you. Person speaks through actions. If words and actions don't align, a liar stands before you. Doesn't matter what they said. Doesn't matter how much they believed in what they said. If they're not there fighting for you, if they're not letting you know that everything you've done for them mattered, every time you put your neck out on a limb, or you forgave them, or you cared enough to try over and over, you've looked past and understood, or tried to be understanding of their damage, what they've gone through in the past. And who knows if that's even the truth or not. You can't even wonder with a narcissistic person or damaged, toxic person. You can't even wonder if the stories they've told you are even the truth, because they've lied so much. They've lied to you all the time, especially when they say, I'm tired of lying. It's hard to keep it's too difficult keeping stories straight. BS. Actions, not words. If a person really wants you, then they would be there fighting for you. You may have gone through a pain that you have never in your life felt. Emotions, a deep connection that you've never in your life felt before. Might be one of the reasons why it's so hard to break free or break out of that trauma bond. And understand this, brothers and sisters, that if you put your neck out again and you forgive and you're there, you can reactivate that bond. You can reactivate it. Because if that person is truly a narcissist or truly toxic, a manipulator and a liar, like that's their goal. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to reach out and play games. They wanted to reach out, reassert that they have some kind of control over you. And it's a damn shame. It is a damn shame that your kindness, your empathy, your forgiveness, your love is considered a weakness by another person. I'm sorry. If somebody is like that, they're not human. You know, you can call them demonic, you can evil, whatever you want, but whatever it is, that person is not human. Especially when you've sacrificed and torn your soul apart over and over to try and be there for them. When you've ruined your credit, or you've bought them a car, or helped to get them one, or paid their bills, been with them, tried to help them raise their kids. And none of that matters. And most especially if that person keeps triangulating or running back to someone that is nowhere near your worth. Nowhere near your worth. The toxic people get addicted to toxic behaviors. So they probably like all the effing and the cheating and the lying and the beatings and whatever toxicity, whatever, emotional abuse, mental abuse, domestic violence, whatever it is. Like, that's a sick ass cycle that you should have never been involved in. Never. You have to take your power back. Narc used to say, when her and her toxic boyfriend or whatever he is, look at my videos and say, oh, I could tell, look, he was crying right before that video. Like, how sick is that? How sick is that for somebody to make that assumption? Although today you might have been right. How sick is that to make that assumption? To force that, to project that on you, to project that weakness or that idea of control, to make an idea up in your head that you still have some type of control over somebody, especially if you go no contact, y'all. If you'll go no contact, if you can go cold turkey, if you can get rid of that addiction to that toxic person who does not give a damn about you, they're going to do that. And then they're going to bug out when they don't have control. Oh my gods. If somebody is stalking you and climbing up trees to look in your window and chasing you down on the highway and tracking you down and putting trackers on your phone or putting all that stuff, look, that person is weak. That is not strength. That is a controlling freak. That is a weirdo. There is something wrong with that person. That is not love. If they're putting you in competition with other people, if they are putting you in competition with other people that are nowhere near your worth, and you are putting in 110% of your heart into somebody, and they're chasing that, First off, that ain't love. And what you're chasing ain't love either. If a person really wants you, they're going to be there. They're going to fight. They're going to recognize what they did to you, how they hurt you, and they're going to put in 100% to change. That's love. Showing recognition of how much you hurt somebody and really and put in that effort, that's love. God, take your power back, because there's no saving them. And don't go back, brothers and sisters. Don't go back. Don't ever go back and talk to that person. Don't let them in your life. Don't let them around you. You're disrespecting yourself. They've proven themselves time and time again through actions, not words. Words don't mean shit, especially to a toxic or narcissistic person. Words don't mean nothing. They've proven themselves time and time again through actions. Where you stand in their lives, you're nothing. Don't accept that. Take your power back. Cut that right off. That is an energy vampire. You are putting yourself out there into the universe. You are creating a hook with that person, and they are consistently feeding off that. You are a backup. You are a backup battery to a toxic person who is constantly trying to run or ruin other people's lives, lying to themselves, not giving a damn if they're a good parent, if they're a good example, not giving a damn if they're telling somebody the truth, fooling themselves into thinking that they're telling the truth. And most especially if that narcissist or that toxic person or whoever he or she is keeps running into a situation that is entirely toxic, horrible, proven to your friends, family, yourself, your kids, that you will accept violence, domestic violence. You will accept that disrespect. Imagine like being a mother and teaching your daughter that, being a father and teaching your son that. You're letting your kids down. Like, not only is that narcissist letting their kids down, but you're letting your family down. You're letting your kids down. You're letting yourself down. Cry if you have to. Let it out. Just let it go. The pain may be insurmountable. It might be something that you've never felt in your life. Who knows why? Who knows why you actually give as much of a damn as you do about a person who's only hurt you? All right, you've got to let them good times go. Them good times weren't good. They're surrounded by betrayal and cheating and lies and not appreciating you putting yourself out there. You could destroy yourself over and over and over and over again. No amount of self-destruction is ever going to show. You may have to fight suicide. I did. I never want to go back to that state of mind again, but I had to fight that because I could not understand that the person that I loved more than life itself had no issue laughing, talking trash, going on live streams, going on social media, and just being completely degrading and disrespectful and destructive to me after all they had done and all I had proven. Without a care to give, and taking no accountability, nothing. And I'm sorry or any kind of light apology, that didn't mean nothing, because the same thing would happen the following day or the next week or whenever your run was done with them. And they were going back to whatever they were going to. And you don't let them show up. Don't let them show up and beg and cry and plead. Don't let them show up and spread their legs or whip it out. Don't let them show up and give you any kind of that fake, that fakeness that they are. You don't got to cover up for their lies. You don't got to cover up for what they're doing, what they're not doing. You don't got to, none of it. Every time you re-engage, there is a cost. There's a cost to your soul. You could have been good for months, and that person circled back around to exercise control over you, start that game up again, and you're right back where you started. Maybe a little wiser, but are you wiser? Knowledgeable. We'll say knowledgeable. You got to take your power back. It's as simple as that. You're a shining bright light in the darkness of the world, and that's why demons like that try to attach themselves to you. I don't care what type of toxicity it is, if they're narcissistic or sociopathic or psychopathic or personality, borderline, whatever, it don't matter. All they're looking to do is use you and destroy you. boost up their own ego, boost up their own feeling of control. Most especially if that idiot has been chasing a completely toxic, closet sausage, wife-beaten, woman-beaten, fake tough guy piece of trash that has never been your equal and never be your equals. Never. And they're caught in that. God's forbid you're caught in a toxic web, a toxic cycle like that, where you're the good person. You're going to get to a point where you can't even see things straight. You might have been wrong about one or two things. You might have missed a cue here and there. You might have missed an off-ramp or an idea that may have led to some possible resolution, but but after years of being disrespected, lied about, smeared, treated like garbage, cheated on, run around on, treated, your heart completely and utterly disrespected, you're not going to be able to see them off-ramps. You're not going to be able to see those because you don't believe a damn thing that they say, and you live in anxiety. F all that. F all that. You don't orbit somebody like that. You don't hold hope in somebody like that. If they have hurt you and shown you who they are and have never put in if they had ever put in a consistent effort of respecting you or fighting for you or loving you or appreciating what you've put yourself through, if they've ever had the ability to self-reflect, let's say they're chasing somebody else on that kind of level, right? A person more toxic than them. If they ever had the ability to self-reflect and realize that the pain that they may feel chasing that brick wall shaped like a fist is what you've been doing, banging your head up against that brick wall. If they'd ever had that ability, maybe they would have fought. They don't. That in and of itself proves that narcissistic, toxic person does not have that ability. They're more stuck in being toxic than you're stuck in missing them. Take your power back. There's no saving them. You got to keep it pushing. You got to keep it moving. You got to think better for yourself. Like I said, cry if you got to. Be alone if you got to. Jeez, God, probably have to be alone. You have things to do in your life. There were always things you were meant to do in your life. You were slowed down by this person. It might have been a lesson. It might have been one of the most important lessons that you needed to understand in this life. If you remain stuck in it, you're not going to get anywhere. Pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to what your guardian spirits, your angels are telling you all the time. Pay attention. Pull yourself up and pull yourself out. You are a shining bright light in the darkness of the world, my friend. And they do not deserve you. Their actions and their words have never aligned. Maybe momentarily, just long enough to fool you, just long enough to give you a sense of hope that they might actually appreciate an increment of how much you cared and loved and sacrificed and gave to them. But it's just an illusion. It is a trick of light. It is a con artist being a con artist. There's no saving them. Do not reestablish that trauma bond. Do not go back. Do not talk to them. Leave them in the dust, in the rear view where they belong, and look ahead to a bright future. Just for a minute, think about the amount of hours that you have spent having to heal and recover because so-and-so came over, played games, and then ghosted you, stonewalled you, right? Played the victim, convinced themselves that you were the bad guy after they've just stabbed you hard as hell. And all that you've had to do, all the months, the weeks, the years that you've had to spend recovering from that damage. That's not love. Love doesn't do that to you. Love reinforces you. Love is standing there side by side with you, building something. Love is constructive. Love is support. Sometimes love is 100 and 0. Absolutely. If a person's going through a rough time, if a person can't give you what you need, if you need to be supportive of them, yeah, absolutely. Sometimes, some relationships sure shouldn't be 50-50. It should be 100-100. Sometimes a person can't give 100 because of something they're going through, and you be with there and you stand with them. If you have done that with that narcissist, if you have been there when they were at their lowest, and most especially if you have been in a position where you've been there because the person they triangulated you with hurt them, beat their ass, kicked them out, was cheating on them, and they came back to you, the loyal fool. for that love and support that they don't get from the person they chasing, but they get from you, their secondary supply, your other supply. You're the lucky one. You're the one dick on the cock carousel that they ran to. Or you're the one person in the stable that dude ran to, whatever. That's a horrible position, all that. There's nothing good. There was nothing good about any of that. There's nothing good about any of that. It's okay to admit that you were a loyal fool. It's perfectly fine. Just admit it. Own that shit. Own it. Most important thing I think about going through this is owning every aspect of what you've been through and who you've been and what's going on. You have to. It's important to learn that lesson because you never do that again. Never put yourself in that position again. If a person is not fighting for you, if they are not fighting for you, if they are not there, they have a consistent history of just up and ghosting. Oh, so-and-so. Masters, another supply's whistling for me. I gotta go. I gotta write. Yeah, F you. I'm sorry. Yeah, thanks for all the love and support you just gave me and reach it. I feel like I have some control over you, so now I feel better, and now I'm gonna go get abused by this other one. I mean, whatever the situation was, they ain't there fighting for you. They ain't worth it. They ain't worth your time. Karma comes back to those that deserve it. Just trust and believe karma comes back to those that deserve it. That narcissistic person, that selfish, toxic, awful person is going to get worse year after year. Maybe not in their early life. Maybe not when their looks are holding up. Maybe not when the devil's keeping that illusion alive for them so they can go out and destroy and create more pain. But eventually they're going to start getting up there in years and they're going to start fading and falling apart. And don't accept them back then either. Don't. Try not to even see him or look at him. Don't answer the phone. Don't text. Don't nothing. Don't nothing if you can. Let him fall apart. Let him become miserable. Most especially if that chick or dude had an issue with their parent because they were so much like their parent and they have actually somehow in this life become more awful than that parent that they didn't like that abandoned them. That's sick. Be a better person, be a better parent to yourself. That narcissist is never going to change. There is no saving them. That toxic person is always going to run in toxic circles. They're always going to look for that next high, whether it's drugs or whether it's a supply. And they're never going to appreciate you. If they ain't fought for you yet, they're never going to fight for you. Never. There's no saving them. Save yourself and take your power back. It's awful that you had to go through that. It's awful you had to feel that. And then most especially if you never loved anyone or anything like that ever before in your life. You're stuck in that cycle. Because it's never going to get appreciated. You have to understand. You have to understand this. Accept it full on. Embrace it. You have to. Cry it out, but embrace it. That person you cared about more than anything you had ever loved in your entire life will never reciprocate that. It doesn't mean anything. And don't let it turn into hate. Don't let it poison yourself with hate. I feel like I've misled some of y'all here and there, especially when I was going through a lot of my anger stage. Mirroring them ain't worth it. I mean, unless you got to protect yourself. Or you're setting them up legally. If it's advantageous to be as heartless and ruthless and mirror that narc and cause a collapse so that they expose themselves or whatever the case is. If it's advantageous, yeah. But most times, not worth it. Not worth it at all. You're just tangling yourself back up in that energy. Right? You're reassociating your spirit energy with that dark, evil, demonic force. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let your angels handle it. Let your guardian spirits handle it. Let God handle it. There comes a point when you're divinely protected when you're trying to break away from something that evil. Absolutely. There comes a point when you are divinely protected. If you go back on that divine protection, sometimes your angels is going to throw their hands up and be like, you got to hurt again because you ain't even learned your lesson. So learn that lesson and take your power back. Seriously, guys. Meditate on that. Pray. Take my power back from all that which does not deserve it. That energy vampire is doing that. All the attention, all their focus, all of their need for control, their need to hurt somebody else, all of that. Okay, they are, trust and believe, draining you of your power. Take it back. There's no saving them. Love yourself. Push forward. Do what you have to do. Stand out in the sunlight and thank Father. Go out into nature. Thank Mother. Be grateful that you're still here. Your heart is worthy of love. This is the hardest part. This might be one of the hardest parts. I don't know about y'all, but it is for me. This might be one of the hardest parts. Is accepting that what you've chased and what you felt that much for was empty. On the others are never going to get reciprocated, never going to get love. But that doesn't mean that you're not worthy of love, or that won't happen for you in the future. Also, and at the same time, accept that you might be alone. You might end up alone. The reason that you don't cheat, and the reason that it's taken so long for you to heal after something like this isn't, it isn't just the abuse that you went through. It isn't just the cycles and the ghosting and the destruction. It's because your heart is real. A person who really loves someone can't just jump into bed with somebody else. I don't give a damn who you are. Get over somebody by getting under somebody, all that shit. No, that's bullshit. That's a hoe. That's toxic. That's all that there ain't. No, not at all. Not at all. I was triangulating the situation with a chick who's with a toxic, abusive, cowardly dude. And they had this deal where when they broke up, they wouldn't sleep with anybody else for at least 3 days. They probably broke up because they were cheating. And the first thing that I know she did was run to one of her carousels and cheat and have sex. You don't want to be stuck in that rotation. You don't want to be stuck in that. You really don't. Don't give your sacred energy away like that. People like that will never know what true love is. They'll never know what real love is. You did. You loved. And that's why it's taken you so long to heal. That's why it's taken you so long to break away from it. Because, look, it takes me years to get over somebody. It really does. It takes me... Have I tried to get over somebody by, jumping on something else? Yeah, I have done that earlier in life, but that ain't who I am now. Every time I go back, it takes more and more time for me to break away and to go do what I need to do to heal and to find that other person, if there is a person for me. Because that's another thing. You also have to accept that you may end up alone. And you can't be sad about it, as hard as it is not to be sad about it. That may be what it is. Be comfortable being alone. Take your power back. Be comfortable being alone. Break away from everybody if you got to. Isolate. That narcissist is, okay, you can learn a lot about how not to be and who not to be from observing and understanding that narcissist in your life. That was in your life. Okay? Everything that they do is wrong. Every way that they handle things is wrong. Okay? They jump from bed to bed to bed to bed. That's wrong. Okay? They don't take any accountability. They don't take the time to self-reflect. They don't heal the damage in them. They cause pain to others. They remain reckless and happy about remaining reckless and not appreciating people and not proving themselves and not fighting for somebody and not somebody healthy, whatever. In any way. You look at that person, you understand that is not how you're supposed to live. That is not what you're supposed to do. So take those lessons, not just what they did to you and what you'll accept, and what boundaries you need to shore up, and what it was in you that made you susceptible to that con artist manipulations. Not just that, but take a look at what that person did and who they were, and understand that it's not who you're meant to be. That's not what a healthy person is. It's hard as hell to go through all this and not be perpetually depressed and upset and give up entirely on love. The healthy way to work through this is to accept that you were fooled. You were not appreciated. That person's never going to fight for you. If you want a healthy love, work on yourself, concentrate on you, and understand without manifesting it, like without, just come to the healthy acceptance that you may be alone. Maybe your heart is so unique. You're all you need. Do it healthy. Damn, 25 minutes. All right. There's no saving them. Take your power back. Remove it. Try not to think about them in any way. Sleep. Have a freaking mental health day when you need it. Cry when you need it. Talk to somebody when you can. Become comfortable with yourself. Know yourself. Take your power back. Don't let them back in. Don't ever let them back in. All right? It's just a control tactic. It's just that they can come play games and feel like they have control over somebody else and create more damage than you because they're miserable. All their mission is to spread pain. That's their mission. They're not trying to heal. They're not trying to love or be loved. Their mission is to spread pain. And when you let them come back in the door, for whatever reason, you let them back around, they feel like they have some control over somebody else and they've gotten to spread pain and that makes them feel better. That's how sick these people are. That's how mentally fucked up these people are. And so not worth your time. Bring back dueling. My love to y'all. Seriously, man. You got to be good to yourself and be good to each other and never again suffer that fool. Walk away. Take your power back.